Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the corruption in school. I've made videos on school multiple times, but it's good to always talk to somebody, especially someone younger, because somebody who might be in high school, for example, will have a lot of knowledge on what kind of indoctrination actually goes on for kids who are younger, because it's not always just university students. So, Johnny, can you tell me an example of where you've seen people wearing, let's say, a red MAGA hat being targeted, but people who might be wearing a Black Lives Matter shirt or a Black Lives Matter hat or something on the left, and nothing is said to them? Do you have any stories like that?
Oh, the most amazing story, actually.
Okay.
So, I have my own MAGA hat, and I brought it to school because I saw a friend of mine wearing a Make America Great Again mask. And I wore that hat, and I got told, you have to take that off. I said, okay, what if someone was wearing a Black Lives Matter mask? They said, oh, we'd make them take it off. I said, okay. My friend actually took the hat from me and put it on himself and started walking around. And they didn't tell him to take it off until like halfway through the day. Mm-hmm. And then I noticed that one of the teachers was actually wearing which one? It was either a Pride mask or a Black Lives Matter mask, and they didn't say anything. And the teachers actually wore it like multiple times throughout the year.
Mm-hmm. So they say that is okay. Sorry, say again?
And then a student thought it'd be okay and wore it like twice and got nothing said to them.
Nothing. So you've seen like kids wear multiple different things that might be considered left wing or right wing, but only the people who are conservative, they're the ones who get talked down to.
Yep, and it also makes no sense because in my yearbook, the kid that wore the Make America Great Again mask actually got his own spot in the yearbook for most supportive mask.
Most supportive mask.
Yeah, and then they yelled at him for it, but they put him in the yearbook.
So what does that mean, most supportive mask?
I don't know. I have no clue.
So do you have any stories of this happening in classrooms? Let's say you have a teacher who's trying to push some kind of ideology and a student talks back. I know you have some personal examples, actually. What can you tell me about that?
During my school year, I have a very, very left-winged history teacher. Mm-hmm. And she made us all take this online test to find out, how far you are on the spectrum. And I came up as a third-party conservative. I was like, okay, whatever. And the look she gave me when that came up was like, ugh. And then, like, after that, she's, like, had this grudge, and she purposely forces her Biden opinions. When the Capitol thing happened, that same morning in class, she went off saying, "Oh, everybody's comparing it to the BLM riots. No, this was disgusting. This was atrocious." And I was like, "Are you kidding?" Okay. She just always teaches from a biased standpoint, and that's one of the biggest issues I have. That they always teach from they never, in my school, never teach from both ends. Like, oh, orange man bad, Biden.
And now, is this across like all your teachers, or is this only a select few?
This is, I would say, for all teachers, because my drama teacher, but his political views, like, he's a good man, but his political views are like insane. Mm-hmm. I live in New Jersey. He ran for freeholder in New Jersey as a Democrat. I was like, okay. And during the debate, like the first one where Biden and Trump were arguing, the next morning he went off, just going like, because I walked in and said, "Did you guys see the circus last night?" And he,
Well, it
and
literally
he,
was the funniest fucking debate I've ever seen.
it was fucking phenomenal. And he was like, our president is literally a child. This is why we need Biden in power. And I was like, oh my god, you're kidding? He was trying to get him to answer questions. And then after class, he kept me back asking me, why are we so different on political views, John? And I said, because we are. I was like, because I don't care.
When you get asked questions like that, even if it only happened once, do you get the vibe that when they ask that, they're asking it in a very attackish way, like, how dare you have a different opinion than everyone else, because everybody's forced into one ideology?
Oh yeah, not because that's not the first time I've been asked that. I've been asked that like 17 times since then, just by friends, and they always seem to like be attackish, as I put it. They always say, "I'm not attacking you. Support whatever you want." And it was like, I have never attacked you guys for your beliefs. The only time I do is when you say the most retarded shit I've ever heard.
So they claim that they're not attacking you, but has it actually happened?
They I had like 5 of my friends jump at me, calling me an idiot for I was arguing the wage gap with them, and because someone brought up oh, the only time women get paid more is in the porn industry. I was like, oh, I have a video for you, and I sent them the video you made.
Yes.
And guess who didn't watch it? Any of them.
Of course. And the funny
because
thing
they
is,
said
the funny thing is, just like I said in that video, it's funny because that's actually the only industry where they're not paid equally. because they don't look at any of the factors. They just see, well, there's a dollar sign and it's the same thing. Okay, well, they also did about 10 times more work than the guy did. So it's not really equal.
It's like trying to explain to a basketball player how to play golf. It's like impossible with my friends. I do have friends who, like, in the middle, who listen to my opinion and will tell me, oh, but there's a flaw in this. I was like, okay, I could see that, but it's like, with most of my friends, it's like a never-ending maze. Like, I can never get through to them. I can never, like, it's bad.
Yeah. Do you actively see the effects of brainwashing between the teachers and the students, your classmates?
Yes. One of my friends is he says, I'm 100% Republican, man. I was like, okay, you have fun there, buddy. And all of a sudden, he came to me and he started talking about his liberal views, as he puts it. I'm like, bro, weren't you just saying you're 100% Republican? He said, oh yeah, well, the teacher said this. And I was like, you, hold up, what? And he said, yeah, I know, the teacher's right. And I was like, oh god. And like, the brainwashing in SJW, especially in my school, is like insane.
Yeah.
I go to a school and like, where like it's a special needs school for kids with like bad mental issues. And there are a few people there who are actual like transgender. I believe some of them are transgenders. Probably. Which really pisses me off, especially because because I can see that one of them bothers another person. It's like, okay, this needs to like calm down. The liberal brainwashing in schools is nuts. Especially in more like populated states, I see it more. Because the more people that are there, the more people latch on to the other people.
Can you give me another example of like straight up just like brainwashing or like SJW beliefs being like shoved down kids' throats?
How my teacher has a rainbow flag in the back corner that says peace on it.
Okay.
And Basically, I forget. It was at the beginning of the school year. Someone brought up super straight. The whole thing started as a joke, and she said, "Oh God, it's just an excuse for people to be transphobic." I was like, "Okay, whatever."
Do you have any direct examples? Because we already know that if somebody even dares say that you're allowed to have preference, God forbid, that's considered transphobia today. Do you have an example of this actually happening?
Just constantly in class bashing Trump, telling me liberals good. You have to vote Democrat, and I told them I'm not 18, I can't vote. And they said, "Well, if you were, who do you support?" I was like, "I'm in the middle. I don't care." And they said, "Well, shame on you for not caring." I was like,
How about shame on you for forcing me to vote for Biden?
the students do most of the forcing. The teachers help, but the students do most of the forcing. One of the students was yelling at my friend, and I got involved because I was like, okay, this needs to stop. Whatever's happening right now, it doesn't matter. He's like, I forgot what my friend exactly said that triggered this person. They were just screaming, saying, "You're transphobic. You need to accept this. You need to accept my rights. You need to accept it." I was like, okay, one, I don't need anything but to pay taxes and die. I live in America. Two, I didn't say I didn't support you. And then my friend was like, I didn't say it either. I do support you. For all I care, you can marry your cousin. I don't care. It doesn't affect me. And they just kept screaming and screaming and screaming, saying, "No, you have to support me. You have to accept it. You have to accept it." It's insane.
It sounds insane, that's for sure. So can you tell me a story of you actually talking back to the teachers?
Yes, I can. So, my history teacher, yet again, during the whole Capitol thing, when she says to us, people are trying to compare us to the BLM riots, and is like, "This is disgusting," and all that, I said, "I don't agree. I don't disagree, but you need to." But they were legit burning down buildings,
right?
Burning down and destroying Black-owned businesses, and she just went, "Shame on you. I'm not having this conversation." I said, and then another thing came up when what's that guy that got killed? George Floyd.
Yeah, George Floyd.
That whole thing happened, and guess what? That was the first thing we learned about in the year. It went we went from learning about 9/11 to George Floyd. I was like, fun times. And
what a jump.
and I said this cop was a racist, but this whole defund the police thing is stupid.
Oh, absolutely.
And
they were literally calling for defunding the police, and then I think you saw my video where I talked about how they were saying that crime was on the rise. And it's like, I wonder if there's a correlation.
I wonder why. And I told them how most of the cop killings are white people killing other white people, and most crime shootings are white people on white people, or blacks on blacks.
Blacks on black, yeah.
Blacks on blacks. And she just wasn't having it. She didn't have an argument for it because I'm pretty sure deep down she knew I was right. But
well, of course,
people like me and you are never right because we argue with feelings. Wrong F word. We argue with facts. Wrong F word.
Yeah, well, that's how they see it, right? If you actually speak stats, you're the one with feelings. But if you argue with feelings, you're speaking the truth because people's brains are fucking inverted. So do the teachers like CNN constantly push that the Capitol was wrong or an act of terrorism, but yet support acts of terrorism by BLM?
Hmm. Let's see. I have 8 periods. I want to say 5 out of 8 of my teachers went on and on and on about it for like that whole week, saying how how it was like disgusting, how it was a terrorist attack. I was like, no, it wasn't. When there's buildings being burned down. The day they won the Nobel Peace Prize, I went into school super pissed, and they said, "Why are you pissed?" I said, "Oh, trust me, you don't want to know." And they said, "Sure, tell me." I said, "Well, Black Lives Matter won the Nobel Peace Prize," and they went, "Oh my God, really? That's so great!" I was like, "You."
So were the teachers saying that too, or just the students?
Both. No,
Really?
it's so like bad.
Did you actually try to say to a teacher like, "Oh, BLM doesn't deserve the Nobel Peace Prize"?
I do all the time. I tell them they don't deserve. They don't. It's legit. Antifa, Anafe, whatever. It's a terrorist organization.
Mm-hmm.
Organization.
Organization.
It's and nobody believes me when I say it because no one has rare sense.
Yeah. And like all these people, like your teachers and your classmates, it seems like they are literally actively watching CNN all the time and just taking in this crap. Like, tell me honestly, do you think that your teachers kind of sound like they are literally taking their lessons from CNN, like stories?
Yep. That's how it sounds. And so there are lessons that they teach that are good, that they actually learn from either experiences, because some of them are old,
Mhm.
or they learn it from an actual textbook
Right.
and studying in college. But most of the time, they don't teach us, like, not once was I handed a textbook in history class this year. I was handed a worksheet, a video, and bullshit opinion.
So it seems like they're more focused on current events rather than actual history.
Yeah. What during World War II, uh, during the I was learning about this woman who wrote diaries, who like found diaries from the World War II era,
Mm-hmm.
and I left the assembly after I heard the woman say that she was comparing World War II and Adolf Hitler and all the Jew stuff to racial issues today. And the second I heard that, I was like, I asked, "Can I leave?" And they said, "No, you have to sit through this." I said, "Did you not just hear them?" I said, they legit told me, "What? She's right." I said, I can't. And I left.
So you say you left, but out of curiosity, do you know any of the reasons they gave as to how these two things are similar?
They didn't give me a reason.
Well, you didn't stick around for it, right?
I didn't. I left like 5 minutes later, but I was just like, these dense motherfuckers.
Unbelievable. Well,
Complete.
luckily for me, I wasn't in school when these kind of lessons were happening, but I wouldn't be surprised because people do call Trump Hitler. So, do you think, based on that when they made these comparisons, they were just trying to say Trump is Hitler? Have you heard that said before, or do you think that's what they were going for?
Yeah. I've seen it happen. I even asked it. I even asked a kid in my class, why do you think people compare Trump and Hitler?
Mm-hmm.
No. And another funny thing, I always ask my teachers and the students, what has Trump done wrong? And this is the dead ass reaction I get every single time. Like, you don't know.
Right?
I said, can you name one example? Give me one tiny example, and they go.
That is
Never.
so true. That is so fucking true, because it's not just in your school, it's in other schools too. We literally see YouTube videos of it happening when people go to protests and do interviews, right? They will literally always be asking questions like, name something racist Trump has said, or name something wrong that Trump has done, or whatever. And the person always reacts by saying something along the lines of, what are you, stupid? You don't know? I don't have to tell you, because they don't have an answer.
They don't. It's so bad.
That's really bad. But you know what? As bad as that really is, and by the way, good on you for being in school and surviving this shit and not being brainwashed yourself, because you might be one of the only ones who isn't. But
I thank you for that. If I haven't found your YouTube channel, I'd probably have rainbow hair right now. I'd probably be barking at police officers and losing my complete mind if I hadn't started watching it.
And be non-binary. Fucking hell. But you know what? I've always said, and I made videos saying this as well, that I believe Gen Z is going to be our savior. Because honestly, I'm seeing many people who are your age and even younger who are actually smarter than a lot of millennials and even adults. And I think the reason is simply because, you don't have the life experience of someone who's fucking 50 or older. But what you do have is you're kind of seeing the SJW culture kind of implode on itself, because, we've been seeing that increasingly over the last 2 or 3 years. And I've also seen a lot of videos of kids on YouTube who are actually pushing back and even leaving school. And I want to show you a couple of videos of these kids that I found on YouTube. And I want you to tell me if you've seen kids like this yourself, kids that you go to school with or whatever. And also let me know if you think that this really is rising and it's not just a select few,
Despite the board's attempt to deny it, District 196 schools are quickly becoming a place where promoting activism is actually more important than promoting education. I'll take you back to my first day at RHS this fall. The principal came out and gave us a heartfelt speech about equality and standing together. He began to list countless races, such as Latino, Asian, expressing how much they matter and how important they are. But never once did he mention a race or identity that reflects me, or half the kids that were in the class. Now, members of the board, I know you haven't been to school in a while, and I know none of you, or most of you, don't have any kids left in the school district. But you must admit how uncomfortable it will be to be characterized just by your skin color on the first day of school, and be thought that you were wrong just because of your skin color. So I'll never forget the look one of my friends gave me from across the room as we were sitting there listening to this blatant bias being expressed in the so-called equity statement by the leader of our school. To be clear, I don't need you to tell me that I matter, but hearing the condolences given to other races and leaving just one race out, inevitably you'll start to feel like you've done something wrong. And in our principal's attempt to unify us, he instead created unwarranted boundaries and barriers between his students, pitting us against each other based on characteristics that we can't control. In another separate instance, I was told that writing "All Lives Matter" on the whiteboard was political and could be seen as offensive. When I questioned the teacher after class, she told me that she didn't have an answer and she just had to erase it, and it was quickly erased. There are political signs all over RHS, about specific races that matter, specific sexual orientations that matter, and specific perspectives that matter. But when I questioned the RHS administration about how these signs were political, they told me that they were supporting human rights. So when I questioned why the equity statement couldn't represent all students, they told me that to even ask that question was outlandish and offensive. And when I asked why that was, they told me, quote, "Whites have a pretty good situation right now," unquote. So is that not racism? Disregarding my question merely because of the color of my skin. To be honest, after enduring a year of the people in charge telling me that I'm a racist and I'm privileged and pointing out our irreversible differences, I've never noticed race more. And it's becoming the first thing I notice when I meet someone, which has never before been the case. RHS administration confidently told me that RHS students and staff are happy with their equity statement. But from my experience in talking with other students, this is not the case. I know many kids who disagree with their teachers, but they're too scared to stand up because they're worried that their grades will be docked and their learning experience will be affected. My honors government teacher, I'm not going to say his name, but he's mentioned that Democrats care more about all people while Republicans only care about themselves. And he's also inferred to us that socialism is better than democracy. He even had a statue. He had a statue of a socialist leader in his classroom. I've been told by a lot of kids that they just stay silent and adjust their schoolwork to reflect an acceptable opinion to secure a good grade. I've been approached by multiple teachers who have told me in private that they just want to say that they agree with me and they support me standing up, but they can't say it in front of the class for fear of being disciplined by the administration in some way or losing their jobs. There is clearly only one way to think in this district, and that is that they are teaching their kids to shut up if they don't agree. Now, members of the board, I want you to take a good look at yourselves in the mirror tonight and ask, are you really standing up for the equality of all people, or are you just pushing a damaging political ideology on our students? A fellow coworker at my job, who, by the way, is of color, discreetly told me that the schools seem to be pushing a very leftist agenda in class. This proved that not everyone is happy with your school, and not everyone who isn't happy is white. Now, due to all these instances I've mentioned and many more that I can't fit in this 5-minute speech, I have decided to leave this district and continue school on a private Christian school online. And there will be sacrifices, and I will not get to walk in the graduation ceremony or attend milestones at RHS, but I will be able to learn in an environment that is not intent on punishing me daily for my skin color and political views. Now, regardless of how you take my speech, whether you just shrug it off as malarkey or Fox News talking points, I encourage you to think about it, because someday I'm going to be a leader. I may be the president, a governor, or just a professional golfer, but I will never stop believing that everybody has value, no matter their skin color or personal beliefs, and it's a shame that you're not going to be able to say that I was an alumni of RHS in District 196. Thank you.
So, hang on before we react to that one. So,
what a king! What a king!
What do you think of that overall? What's your reaction?
It is no different in a private Christian schools, because that's where I go to school, a private Christian school. Mm-hmm. And oh my God, like, shit, I am proud of him.
Yeah, I am too. I love how at the end he just gives the biggest middle finger, like, one day I'll be president. Fuck off. And he just leaves the school, like, straight up.
My man. It's like, I agree with all that wholeheartedly. Like, if I could go back, if I could drop out of school, I would. My parents would kill me. But being killed is better than living in this world.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Now, would you say everything that he mentioned about his school to be true, or is any of it untrue for your school?
It's all true. It's all true. Not just in my school. I've noticed this in my. I have baby sisters. They're 4, 5, and 7, and I want to say like about a year ago. One of them, the youngest one, was in kindergarten, and the teachers were trying to say, "Who would you guys vote for, Trump or Biden?" My dad nipped that shit right in the butt and said, "Don't you even dare bring that up around my kids."
How old? How old?
She was 4 at the time.
Okay, another question. Before I punch the wall. Is critical race theory being taught at your school?
Oh, yeah. You matter unless you're white and straight. If you're white and straight, you are like the most hated person in campus. Like, it's unbelievable. Oh, we care about your preferences. You only like biologically born women? You sexist pig! You homophobic!
So is critical race theory an actual class?
It's not an actual class. It's not a class in my school, at least. Mm-hmm. It could be in other schools. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I know my school doesn't do that.
Right.
It could be, and if they did, I know a lot of parents would sue.
Oh yeah, there's been a lot going on. Actually, Project Veritas did an investigation just a couple days ago, and he left, sacrificed his job to expose them, and the reason was because they were teaching critical race theory, and as part of their curriculum for teaching this, they were teaching that kids are able to see race and have the ability to be racist at 3 years old. Have you seen this happen yourself, where they actually claim that a kid can be racist at 3 fucking years old?
I have not. Ever.
You haven't seen it. Well, that's good. That's good you haven't seen it, because it is actually happening. And what these idiots fail to realize, because they actually cite the most dumb studies on the planet where it's like a half-truth, right? For example, the actual study is claiming that a child is able to see race and the differences in people by 3. That's actually true. But then they take that and go, kids are racist at 3. That's two very different statements, my boy. But that's actually what they're doing to push critical race theory and that kids can be racist or are racist, which is disgusting. So about critical race theory, Google, good old manipulative Google, defines critical race theory, and so do the schools that teach it. They define it as simply educating people on race issues, like what black people go through, etc. Now, as for the people who have actually experienced the class, they define it, which is probably what it actually is, simply saying that white people are pieces of shit. And that's basically all it is. If that's true, because I personally have not taken a critical race theories class or been taught it, whatever, but if what people's interpretations are is the reality and what Google defines it as is not the reality, would you be surprised at all?
No.
Based on what you've seen, there's no surprise there.
No.
Of course.
It is so rare for me to be shocked by something someone says now. Like,
yeah,
I'm waiting for the day someone comes to school saying, "Guys, my car just came out as gay," and I'm just gonna be like, "We're actually at this
point." Hey guys, I did an operation and I chopped off the muffler, so now it no longer. You laugh, but
it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. So I have one other video. Sorry, go ahead.
There's gonna be a day this stuff is gonna happen, and we're gonna look back at this, and we're gonna be like, "Well, I'll be damned."
I'll be the. Okay, so I have one more video of another young person. She's actually only 9. I believe that other kid
Holy
was like.
Shit.
Yeah, this is why I'm saying Gen Z could be our savior, because they're young when they're waking up. I think that other
rare
kid
sense.
Yeah, I think this other kid I show you. Well, maybe Gen Z will make a comment again. Make sense comment again. Okay, so
I'm getting t-shirts made. This needs to be a thing. If I run for president and the world's not fixed by then, that's my slogan.
MSCA. Makes sense comment again. So I believe the other kid was like at least, what do you look, about 12 years old? At least 12 or 13 years old?
Yeah.
Well, this girl is only 9. Let's take a look at what she has to say about her school, shall we?
Novalee here again. The other day I was walking down the hallway at Lakeview Elementary School to give a teacher a retiring gift. I looked up onto the wall and saw a BLM poster and an Amanda Gorman poster. In case you don't know who that chick is, she's some girl who did a poem at Biden's so-called inauguration. I was so mad. I was told 2 weeks ago at this very meeting spot, no politics in school. I believed what you said at this meeting. So at lunch, I went up to my principal to tell him about the BLM poster and that I wanted it down. He said it's not coming down. I was like, yeah, it is, because the school board said on May 25th, no BLM or politics in school. He said, that's weird. They were the ones who made them. I was stunned. When I was here 2 weeks ago, you told us to report any BLM in our schools. Apparently, you know they're in our schools because you made the signs. I said there should be no BLM in schools, period. It does not matter the color you make the posters and the font you use. We all understand the meaning. It is a political message about getting rid of police officers, rioting, burning buildings down while King Governor Welch just sits on his throne and watches. We all know. Changing the font or the color of posters does not change the meaning. I am 9 years old and I know that. You expect me to believe that you did not know what you were doing by making these posters? Come on, people. I do not judge people by the color of their skin. I don't really care what color their hair, skin, or eyes is. I'm judged by the content or the way they treat me. MLK said, I have a dream that one day my 4 little children will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. That dream has come true. I do not care or look at the color of skin, but you make me think of it. I have Asian, Mexican, white, Chinese, black friends, and I don't care. I like them because some of them make me laugh, some are sweet and kind, sporty, or share the love of God. They are just my friends. You have lied to me, and I am very disappointed in all of you. You cannot even follow your own rules. If you're going to do that, why do we follow any rules we deemed unfit or ridiculous? I'm not following your mask rule anymore then. Get the posters out of our schools. Courage is contagious, so be courageous.
Thank you. They grow up so fast.
They grow up so fast. So you were even saying earlier that, the whole thing with all these, no politics in school, unless those politics are left-leaning. You said it yourself, and then she's talking about the same damn thing. This is happening everywhere.
The saddest part is, a 9-year-old shouldn't have to say this stuff.
Oh, yeah. But like I said before, Gen Z is smarter than the adults. They're smarter.
God, protect her at all costs. Just protect her at all costs.
You know what, though? I showed you 2 examples, but there's actually hundreds. I'm serious.
Hundreds.
Yes. If you go on YouTube and just type in something like, I don't know, kid exposes school board, something like that, you're going to find a lot more than just those 2 videos.
The sass and anger in her voice is just marvelous. That's amazing. That child deserves to be protected at all costs.
Yeah. Let me ask you one more thing before we end off here. One thing that I think most of us grew up learning, unless you're of Gen Z because you grew up, with this stupidity. But when I grew up, for example, before all this started, and our parents and our grandparents, we grew up trying to be taught something which used to be anti-racist. And that thing is, fuck skin color. It doesn't matter. Stop talking about skin color. Stop talking about race. Just be a fucking person. Now, skin color is the only thing that matters. Now, if you don't talk about skin color, you're called racist. Now, if you think skin color doesn't matter, you're called a racist. Complete opposite. What's your take on that?
This whole world is backwards. It's like walking on a treadmill. You try to go forward, but it just keeps pushing you back. Mm-hmm. It's nuts to see how, 20 years ago, nobody cared what skin color you were.
That's right.
Now all of a sudden, everybody, all it matters is that whatever skin color you are. There's a quote that is perfect for this. It's not who I am underneath, it's what I do that defines me. What you do defines you. If you are a murderer, it doesn't matter if you're black, white, Latinx, anything. It does not matter. It's what you did that defines you as a person. I don't care what race you are. If you're a dick to me, I'm going to be a dick to you. You're nice to me, I'm going to be nice to you. Oh, you're Asian? Oh, fuck you. No. I was taught that way. I'm Gen Z and I was taught that way. It doesn't matter what skin color you are.
Yeah. Well, you grew up that way, But school is telling you the opposite, are they not? School is telling you
Yeah.
that your skin color all of a sudden means everything. If it's white, you're horrible.
If you're white, you own slaves. Oh yeah, because I got 3 in my basement. Like I don't get like the there's no, to them it's crazy to think they actually think they're right.
They really
They actually think that because fun fact, my ancestors were slaves. Does that mean I can put up my fist and burn down buildings? No. The first person to own a slave.
But you're not allowed because your skin is white. That's the only reason you're not allowed to.
Oh my god! Another thing, like this is a good example. There was a trend on TikTok where black people would actually put on white foundation when they say, "Oh, the police are coming around to my town." They would put it on. This woman had the nerve, and I'm so proud of her for doing it. She got her makeup palette, went in the darkest one, and went like this. Wait a minute, that'd be racist, wouldn't it? And I saved that video and liked it.
Unfortunately, they see blackface as racist, but whiteface as who cares?
Who cares? We can make fun of white people because they're racist. But if we make fun of white people, we're prejudiced. No, Bucko. No, none of that, Buckaroo. No.
You're racist. That's all there is to it. If you make fun of anybody based on their skin color, that's racism. That's what the word means. I mean, well, unfortunately, the dictionary's been changed, but I don't care about the modern definition. I go by the real definition, so that's all there is to it.
There's such thing as real anymore? No way!
Well, I'm trying to hold on to real, but it's fading very fast. Well, regardless, and final question, what do you think needs to change in the school system?
I think, for me, in my school, I have to say, my school has helped me a lot. I'm not like trashing them. I'm trashing the system and how it operates.
Right.
I'm not trashing the school. I'm not trashing schools at all. You need school. You need education. Teachers need to learn that your opinion in this education does not matter at all. If your opinion on 9/11 is that it was an inside job or not, it doesn't matter. Teach us the facts and what we know about it.
Right.
Teachers also need to know that forcing it on kids, teens, even college students is nothing but manipulation. People have minds of their own. The world isn't just one big brain that operates the same. It's not. And it will never be. And third, The Giver is not a reality, people. Stop it. The Giver is becoming a reality, but nip it in the bud right now.
Yeah, we've been trying. Oh, that was one prediction I made I did not want to come true. It's not fully true yet, but we're getting there.
Oh, God, The Simpsons. What's next?
Well,
The Simpsons need to write an episode where the world goes back to normal, and maybe it will.
Because people think that Simpsons predicts everything. I don't know.
I don't get it either. It's
Regardless, though, thank you for talking to me about this, and being one of the few Gen Zers who is going to hopefully bring us back towards where we used to be 20 years ago. Before everybody was fucking crazy. It's all we can do is try, right?
Yep. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, man.
It's an honor to be in a video with you. Since I've been watching you since 2013, my first ever time seeing you, you were yawning the whole time, even though apparently you only yawned 3 times.
Mandela effect. You remember it differently now.
Yep. It
All right,
was amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so much for teaching us all about the modern school system. We'll talk
No
to you again
problem.
soon.